All right. And I'll turn it over to you, Mary Pat, for, as we all know, I'm going to shrink this. Mary Pat's the principal of the Fair School, and she's also on numerous state and national boards of secondary principals. And she loves yoga, dancing, pickleball, is a proud mom to Whitney, Emily, Nick, and Sam, and seeking Grandma of the Year award for raising the most amazing granddaughter. You get our vote, Ophelia. Currently, she's also dog mom to an 11-year-old rescue dog named Raven Brussels Sprout. So take it away, Mary Pat.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, we have the amazing pleasure to have Peg Thomas with us here this morning from the Sundance Family Foundation. The Sundance Family Foundation drives change and enables young people, their families, and their communities to thrive. They focus on youth serving organizations as important intermediaries and strive to develop their back office capacity as well. They build pathways to 21st century in-demand careers with sustainable wages and articulated training. Peg Thomas manages the Sundance Family Foundation's operations and initiatives. She's been with them for 9 years, but 6 as the executive director, and provides the strategic programming guidance to the board, mentors, interns, providing grants, data management, and technical support to grantees. Peg holds an MPA from Harvard Kennedy School and an MS from Therapeutic Recreation and Administration from the University of Minnesota, and an MPP in business from the Carlson School of Business, and a BS in music therapy, also from the University of Minnesota, with coursework from UConn, Napa Jr College, and the University of California, San Diego. Peg enjoys biking and traveling with her family. Let's welcome Peg.
Thank you, Rotarians. It's lovely to see you all. I've been in nonprofits almost as long as I've been playing cello with Hugh Pruitt, who is not in the room. And my boss is here. One of my bosses, Rob Scarlett. So I'll try and do well for you. All right, advancing youth skills and careers. You actually had a presenter a couple of weeks ago who did this, and I jumped in and I saw it and I thought, oh, now what else can I show you? But hopefully there are a few things. Do you know that in 2015, the Minnesota legislature passed a goal hoping to have 70% of people aged 25 to 44 in Minnesota having a post-secondary credential or associate's degree or degree. So how many in this room knew that that was our global goal that we should all be working for? Right. Oh, thank you. Katie does. Oh, apparently I'm an N of 1, you know. And we wanted 70%. And because of our persistent racial disparities in this state, we also set limits at 30% and 50% for educational attainment benchmarks for all races and ethnicities as interim goals. Here's the problem. We're not going to make the goal in 2025. Believe it or not. That's because none of us knew this was the goal that we had to make. An additional 107,000 people need to get a credential, associate's degree, or a degree by 2025 to help us make that goal. And it's not all evenly distributed among races. So we need 5,500 American Indian students or young adults to get credentialed. And it goes on. You can see white. We have 68% now of people who are white, but and so we don't need as many people who are white to make the goal, because the goal is almost made there for people who are white. But people who are BIPOC, brown, black, we need some support. And I looked through all these different you know, when you look at percentages of populations, it doesn't really tell the story. So there are, the Office of Higher Education has wonderful reports, and I urge you all to read them. But in this, you can really see the disparity in post-secondary credentials. We're not doing a great job getting everybody their post-secondary credential. And so there's another problem that Minnesota is facing, and that is a significant shortage of workers to propel our economy. So we have that one problem where people are going through, and I had this statistic and I couldn't find it last night. But guess when somebody gets their first credential after high school? Just shout out a number. What? 25. What's any other? 28. 28 is when, and Katie can nod, yes, you know, and OIC, you know that you're seeing older adults come in. What is the age when they finish college? 32 if they're white, 36 if they're Black. So, and I'm sorry, we have Black and white historically, you know, it's getting changed, but what that means for Minnesota is we have a shortage of workers with skills, and people are going through their 20s and their 30s without being skilled up, with having a GED or a high school diploma. And so employers typically because they drop out. They start, they drop out, they get student loans, they can't pay their loans, they manage to get a job, they get back into where they can get back to college, and then they finish. It's really stunning. And I had a dropout chart that I didn't add to this, but it's in the Office of Higher Education. It's something astronomical, like 60% of people drop out before they finish college. So you can start, and then for a variety of reasons, you don't finish, and then you can't get back on the horse because of your student loans, and you can't get a house, and it pushes you back tremendously. So yeah, that's kind of startling, isn't it? So our old model was that people would graduate from high school, you'd look around, try and find a college. You had no idea what your career was. You'd start on that path. Maybe you realize, oh, I don't like liberal arts. I'm not really good in this college, or you drop out, or you got a crisis, whatever. And then you get back into college, you look around, you send out 200 resumes, nobody will hire you, finally get one, and you realize, oh, this environment isn't good for me. And you're back to square one. It's me, me, me. It's all on the job seeker. The employer has been standing at the end of that line, waiting for the perfect candidate to drop into their lap. That has been our paradigm, and it's not working. So the biggest problem, I love this sentence, is that young BIPOC people are facing an assemblage of consequences as a result of structural inequity. And what it means is that, as you can see, we have these disparities. No, we live with them so much that we often don't even see them. But if you look around at many gatherings, you don't see a lot of Black and brown faces. You don't see all the kids. 70% of our kids are Black and brown, and they will be as of 2050 across the state. So we're going to have new faces, new ideas, new cultures, and an assemblance of consequences facing these kids. And so what does that mean? It means that the career pathways are going to have to change dramatically from what they are. And they're going to have to be curated and supported in ways that have previously not been imagined. Imagine that, as in Germany, you hire somebody out of high school and you give them an apprenticeship, and you pay them while they are learning. As Rob can attribute, that's beginning to happen. Aon Insurance is doing that, where they're hiring people at 18. They're putting them through Normandale, getting their certificates for finance, and paying them $40,000. They're paying them a livable wage while they do that, while they earn and learn. That's also happening it's been happening in the trades with apprenticeships and working up, but now it's gradually getting into manufacturing. It's getting into professional areas. It is, I think, the key. And in the Twin Cities, as you've been noticing, nonprofits, the damage, destruction, and dissolution of hundreds of nonprofits has reduced youth connectivity. So a lot of nonprofits have bellied up. A lot of them are just strained. Resources are strained. And one of them is my nonprofit, the Sundance Family Foundation. So 2 months ago, when I booked this gig, I had no idea that we were going to be closing October 31st. But last night was my last night as executive director of the Sundance Family Foundation. And so today is a new day. Today, I'm launching my new LLC business in earn and learn pathways, career pathways. I have to, because we had more than 600 career navigators, guidance counselors, and nonprofit managers using a variety of tools that we had put out there. And everything went dark on Sunday. So there is no more using tools. And let me kind of run you through the tools that we had. We had developed a career pathway. We wanted a universal map for everybody to be able to use to talk about career pathways. And so the one for people in high schools or below, people in third grade, is career exploration. What would it be like to be a carpenter? What would it be like to be a dental hygienist? You and your great kids and grandparents, you show that to your kids. Many parents have never thought of those as ideas, as career paths. Many parents are still thinking it's 4 years or bust, that there's nothing in the middle. And so one of the biggest challenges that we have is the mindset of parents who believe that the only way to prosperity is 4 years. I'm not saying, I mean, you can see my credential. I've spent 20 years in higher education. Yeah, I do. And have they helped? I don't know. And I did the 10-year undergrad, which was really awful. So if you're going to do 10 years as an undergrad, please make sure that you use a system like the Minnesota State system. But there's career exploration. As they do it fair, I'm sure they bring in parents. They bring in Rotarians. You are doing it with your career night. Thank you. That it's really needed. It's really helpful. Let's get parents and young people to these events. And then education and training. I just talked about apprenticeship, but what about Dunwoody has 100% placement for their kids, and they have a robust P2C program in the summer where everyone who goes through that program in the summer gets a $10,000 scholarship to go to Dunwoody and could possibly get it for the next year as well. OIC, I'm very familiar with OIC. I actually am an OIC grad from California, and OIC, you can go there and tomorrow and not pay anything for your certificate. This is information that is not known to a lot of us, right? We don't know where these free ones are. We gave gloves to American Indian OIC. But did we have them come in, and do we join them to make sure that American Indian kids are getting in there? That's the next step. And then job placement. As Dunwoody, as OIC is doing, they have a robust placement. No longer does somebody have to do 200 resumes to try and get their job. They could actually be placed and then find out, oh, they want a bigger place. They want a smaller place. They want a place that's more congenial. And then finally, once they get the job, we have not declared victory. Things like, how do I ask my supervisor for a raise? How do I switch to another area in the company? How do I stand my boss? You know, I mean, you know, that thing about bullies who are still learning that stuff. All right. So, sustainable development goals. And tell me how many more minutes I have here. Oh, I do. Oh, great. 8. Good. So we did some workforce development tools, and I'm not going to belabor this one, but it's a logic model based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 8.B.1, which is creating a youth-specific career path system. We don't have a system. So how many of you know of workforce development nonprofits who then feed into training, who then feed into employers? It's really a broken path right now. And that's what we were trying to do with Sundance. I mean, we did a great job, a great R&D work, you know, because nobody's paying for this stuff. We did some tools, some rubrics that could be used to see how is a person doing in attaining their workforce development skills. And this comes, with a rubric on the back where somebody who's a supervisor can probably score as well in one industry as another industry. We also did a young adult retrospective survey. These are all public documents so that anybody can use them, but they're not up on the web anymore. So you're going to have to ask Katie, or maybe me, if you can use them. And we did hundreds of careers which were being used at 20 high schools all over the Twin Cities to show youth about jobs. Trades Hub is another area, another website that has jobs specifically on trades. But some of these were not only jobs about nonprofit or career exploration, there were infomercials. And so this was an infomercial on the Carpenters Union, and I learned a lot. It's probably one of our best, was one of our best videos. We featured young people. We featured videos on the 3 areas that employers are saying are problematic: transportation, childcare, and housing, and what to do about those. We did a Google Doc of different contacts that any guidance counselor knows all the liberal arts colleges in the area, but cannot tell you how to become an electrician. How do you get into the Aon program? How do you get into a program that isn't a 4-year college? And so we put it all together, and on September 18th, we launched the website. We integrated the Google Doc into the website, and we took it down Sunday. So I'm here to say, let's build a new pathway connector. Let's build information systems with employers who are willing to invest in training their youth as paid apprenticeships. So this is our new initiative. I can't seriously, who has left their job at 5 last night and started a new business the next morning, you know? It's like, this is really nuts. So it's not so nuts because I kind of helped build the whole thing. And I got earnandlearnminnesota.com. And so it is going to look oddly familiar, but not exact, because there are copyright laws. But there'll be resources for youth, career navigators, employers, youth career exploration, and new collaborations. So how can you help with this bold new venture? Connections, actually, Rolodexes. Who are the companies that you know of that are hiring and training people in new and wonderful ways, and how can their story get told? Let's scale it, let's use it, and let's make it happen. So that is my pitch. When I tried to offload this from Sundance, I went to the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce and the Regional Chamber of Commerce, and they have their Elevate Futures. So, and Ramsey County is putting a lot of money into a Ramsey County site, and there's another site that is with Real-Time Talent. There are some sites around. Does there need to be another site? Well, actually, yeah. The Elevate Futures is really good for employers. The other one is really good for this. The other has geographic constraints. I think what there needs to be is a site that can scale and that links to all of these other sites, links to Career Force Minnesota, but is agnostic in terms of who it is supporting, and yet embraces all. And we had a lot of R&D at Sundance in order to make this happen. And so I think we can do it again. But questions, I got a couple seconds here. Yeah.
Sean Irwin, I have a couple questions. So this material that the nonprofit you said went dark, is the nonprofit able to sell it? Is it, I mean, they no longer exist. So why would they not allow that material to be used?
Yeah. So really good question, and one that I've struggled with. If it had been listed as an asset when the dissolution papers went to the Attorney General's office, and there was a handoff, a path to a nonprofit, it would have been able to be distributed. But Sundance is a private family foundation, and so assets need to be evaluated. So even though it wasn't on the, I argued vociferously that it wasn't on the balance sheet and therefore it wasn't an asset. But the lawyer said, contraire, even though it wasn't on the balance sheet, it is a digital asset and it should be valued. And so to value it would have been anywhere from 10 to 150,000, and then it would have to be sold or donated. So the answer is that there isn't really an answer. It could have happened. And I really did. I looked at Youth Prize. I looked at Regional Chamber. I looked at St. Paul Chamber. You know, I was like, green eggs and ham. Would you like it with a fox? Would you like it in a box? Would you like it here and there? You know, I spent like 10 months trying to offload this thing. And the problem is maintenance, quite frankly. So I think that I have two solutions for rebuilding this. One is that an engine is an engine, and the company that did the engine and came in on September 18th instead of February 14th, well, like they should have, is willing to help me rebuild the engine at a very low cost. And if I include in the filter agribusiness, because they're dying for career path opportunities, and disabilities, which are two areas, then I have marketing dollars to help at least get this set up.
And now, are you setting up as a for-profit or nonprofit?
LLC.
Okay.
If I set up as a nonprofit, having worked in nonprofits longer than you and I have played cello, yeah, it's a 9-month hurdle to try and get the nonprofit and get it up. And I, having worked with foundations and having money be really tight, making connections with people is not something that foundations are funding right now. They're really funding either capital or products or programs, but not connectivity. So this club is really important. I just can't tell you how important you are in the scheme of things, with connectivity fading as a result of COVID, as a result of a lot of dysfunction in our economy. Clubs like this are the backbone of our society. I mean, you find you find the nonprofits that are being overlooked and you support them. And so I just can't tell you how important it is, not only for you to sustain, but for you to grow and get young members and diversify, get those new workers in here. Okay, so what do I need? Rolodex, but they don't have Rolodex anymore. So I guess it's like Outlook files, I mean, I need to connect with employer groups. And that, as I said, just mentioned with Rotary here, employer groups are really hard to find these days because everyone is so head down trying to make their business. I mean, you meet at 7:30 in the morning because it's the only time that you can meet. Otherwise, you're gone for the rest of the day until 7 at night, So you don't go out to meet your friends in the industry the way you did. So connecting with employers is the biggest challenge.
Thank you so much for your message. As a school principal, I know
Yeah.
very much how important these pathways are. And then also to our fellow business people as well. And we want to thank you for speaking today. We'd like you to sign this book so that it can go to a child at Way to Grow as a memento. And we also would like to give you this bookmark from Haiti. And thank you again for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you. A friend of mine is supporting a family from Haiti. She's just redoing her house to have the family in, and Dwindusky Kamrag. So my father's dragon. I'm learning Welsh. So thank you.
Notes. Thank you so much, Peg, and good luck with the new LLC. And I would just like to thank everyone who participated today. Those of you who came to enjoy Laka Shower, best wishes, Laka, and that everything goes well. And I know you'll be there tomorrow at the career mingle for us. Thank you. Bob for being our greeter today, Bob Minnis for the reflection, Mary Pat for another shower opportunity for us, Zoom Masters, Anna, thank you so much. And of course, Brock and Greg is backup, and Steve today is our club administrator. And our guests, thanks so much for coming, Doug and Katie and Kevin and Carol. Great to have you here. Next week is the annual awards ceremony. So we'll recognize people who have been active in the club in various ways. It's always an inspiring program. So hope to see you here again next Wednesday. And Peg, feel free to come back and join us and participate. And with that, have a fantastic Rotary week.